George Turner grew up in a large family that lived in rural Crawfordville. Back then, there were no streetlights, no running water, and no telephone. Every day of the week, his father farmed the old-fashioned way, with a horse and a plow. But Sundays were different. His father, being a deacon, meant there was no question about it. Sundays were a time to go to church, pray, and visit.
My father's always rushing my mom to get on time, but when you're dressing that many kids, it's hard to be on time. But being the deacon of the church, he had to be on time. And sometimes he'd stop and pick up someone. So you'd have a station wagon with probably about 8 or 10 people in it easily going to Antioch. And the roads were dusty. And our clothes would be dusty, but still we were dressed. And we'd get to Antioch. And Antioch, the only modern facilities they had there were electric lights. They still had an outhouse at Antioch. During that period, the church only met once a month. It was the fourth Sunday. So what happened during the other 3 Sundays? That was a practice of visiting sister churches, they called them. So being spread out, family members at different locations, since we had no telephones, you had a chance to see folks you probably hadn't talked to probably all month. The prayers were very direct, that people would pray about their families, the ones that had left and gone north or wherever, or were incarcerated, matters of that nature. And as people could relate to what they were saying, they became quite emotional. And they'd knock over benches and chairs, and arms would fly, and everything else would fly. Okay, as a kid, part of you want to laugh, but part of you is afraid to laugh. But we understood how spiritual it was when we were younger. We knew that my father would say, they got the Holy Ghost. But when you reflect on it, you're saying they were just emotional about the condition for which they had to survive.